Hello and welcome back to the Canaries Chat channel. Today we have another tier list. This one is Norwich midfielders. Just having a quick look over it. Looks like we're mainly going defensive midfielders and centre midfielders. And today I've obviously been joined by my wonderful co-host Luke. How are we today, mate?
Yeah, doing very well. I'm looking forward to this tier list and seeing the opinions we have. So, yeah, let's get straight into it, shall we?
Yeah, there's some wild names in this, but yeah, let's see what we both think. So the first one, and I already know where I want to put this, but we will probably disagree, is David Fox.
Shock.
Now, he is my favourite player of all time to ever play for Norwich. So
Yeah.
I,
What are
I,
the
I have to.
what are the tier lists? What
So
categories have we got?
we've got sell, bench, starting 11, first name on the team sheet, and all timers. He's an all timer for me.
He's not an all-timer.
He is.
He's Chris. He's not an
He's
all-timer,
so good.
but he's not an all-timer.
I'm,
Let's be real.
he minimum. I will accept his first name on the team sheet.
Was he?
Yeah, he was unreal.
Yeah, good player though. But obviously
Whilst
you like
people
him.
were
But
whilst people were playing football in the playground pretend to be Stephen Gerrard, I was genuinely pretending I was David Fox. I cannot have that man below first name on the team sheet.
what's the one below that one?
Starting 11, but he's better than that. He is minimum first name on the team sheet. I will be
He's
willing to
not.
concede on others.
He's not. He's not though.
Right, I'll put him there.
He's not though. Come on, Chris.
Right, okay. I'll put him in starting 11.
He's starting 11.
Yeah, I've definitely put him in starting 11. Gary O'Neill. I think there's about 30 of these to get through as well. So
Yeah.
I'm not going
Okay.
to
Gary O'Neill.
passionately go for all of
Um,
them like I do David Fox.
done
You know what?
okay. Didn't he?
Yeah, he was solid, but I'd say he's
What
probably a bench player.
bench? Yeah, bench. I'd say.
I'm happy with that. Uh, Tony Andreu, who was he? He's meant to be
Sell.
the
Sell.
Cesc Fabregas from Scotland, wasn't it? That he was
Well, I
labelled
guess
as
we're just
coming
going
out.
by their Norwich time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's like he could have been a really good player, but it just didn't really kick off for him at the club. So
yeah,
presume that would just be the bottom one, unfortunately.
yeah.
He was a really exciting prospect, though, weren't he, at the time?
Yeah, well, I just remember the Cesc Fabregas comparison that was brought over, and I was sold, and then we never saw him play. So you got big Marcelino Nunez.
He for me needs to be near the top
He is currently first name on the team sheet.
on the team sheet, and the previous manager didn't understand the potential.
Agree. I would have him first name on the team sheet.
Yeah, I would as well. He's going to be one of them players that we look back on the past and think, wow, what a
He's going
player
to
he
be
was.
this
Do you know what I mean?
generational David Fox. That is what he's going to be.
Yeah. We'll look back and think, what a player he was.
We then, speaking of what a player, we then have Gabby Sara.
Top. He's top.
All timer.
Yeah, 100%.
I
There's
can't overly argue with
honestly,
that.
he's yeah.
Seeing some of the
Is
names coming up, and I think he's got. If you just take solely Norwich, his goal contributions, his
what he
actual
done? Just
goals,
how
like
yeah. He's at the top.
yeah, being such a shining light when we weren't playing our best football. 100% agree. We then have
Yeah.
Alex Tete.
Hmm. I think you got to take like longevity out of the equation. some of this stuff? Are we going by like footballing ability, or just say time at Norwich?
It was a little bit combination of both. So most people would argue we've never replaced Alex Tatty. I think there's an argument that he was very good at what he did, and he was obviously very good at screamers. But I think his actual footballing bit let him down in places. His pass and first touch. I think he's definitely starting 11, but I don't know if he'd be first name on the team sheet.
He, mm, yeah.
What were you going to say? Well, no, go on, Luke. Voice your opinions.
Oh, I guess if you look at his time in Norwich, he was always the first name on the team sheet. He was literally always in them teams.
True. Should we put him bottom of first name on the team sheet for the time being?
Yeah, go on then. Because if we think of it like that, I mean, we could get down like a whole rabbit hole of, well, there's so many players that are always probably in the squads over the years, isn't there?
Yeah.
But you think if you take longevity into consideration and everything, he's got to be up there, surely.
Yeah. No,
He's got to be, yeah.
I think that's fair. Next we have Jacob Butterfield.
So again,
yeah.
didn't really, unfortunately, kick off for him. Do you want to know a little fun fact about Jacob Butterfield?
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Well, I used to live on Carrow Road, and I used to play at Carrow Park every single day after school. And there was a nice white Range Rover that was in the car park. This is when they used to park at Carrow Park instead of the I believe they all come in the team coach now, don't they? They used to park in a car park at Carrow Park, and obviously a footballer when he kind of saw a car and he got out. I didn't know where he was, who he was, and then he was there for like a couple of weeks, and he was living in the Holiday Inn. I just went up to him. I went, "Who are you?" He went, "Jacob Butterfield. I'm going to sign for Norwich." And then, yeah, that's how I knew he was going to be a Norwich player.
So
But
what I'm hearing is that you're in the know. That you're.
I was when I was about 12, yeah, but I had no
Are
social media
you
to spread it.
Canary Jerry on Twitter? Is that you, Luke?
No, I'm Sexy Bennett.
Oh, cool. Blast from the past. Right, I'll put him in second. Vardis Afeu. I actually think he is a bit of a baller.
He was good. He didn't probably get as much game time as he'd like. Done an okay job. He'd probably be bench for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He was probably exactly the same as O'Neill, wasn't he? They were both kind of bench at the same point, really.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll put him at the top of bench just because he had a bit about him, didn't he? But then got Graham Dorrans.
I quite like Graham Dorrans. I wouldn't have him as. Was he really like a centre mid?
Yeah. He's
I thought he.
wasn't
he? Yeah.
I'd probably put him starting 11. A fully
Oh.
fit Graham Dorrans is pretty decent.
Yeah, but he wasn't in the starting 11 that much, though, was he? He was more of a bench player. He didn't start a lot. He came on off the bench quite a lot, I thought. It was that player that, came on the last, half hour, 20 minutes to either,
Would you put him at top of bench above O'Neill and
Well, I
Tharp?
think I think we've got 30 players here, obviously. I don't think he would probably be in that bracket of starting 11.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's fair enough. Next we've got Malumbu. I think so.
Bench.
Bottom of bench then. As you said, we've got 30. Yeah. Super Tommy Tribal. We've got a little Farker era coming up. Tribal's a weird one, in my opinion.
He was a very good football player. He was very tidy. Again, if we're going by these kind of categories, he was always on the starting 11, wasn't he?
I would have him as. I think he had games where he was an all-timer, but he also had
Yeah,
a couple of stinkers. Like he was a bit up and down. I'd have him as starting 11. I think that's fair. Next, we have Super Mario Vrancic. He is very close to David Fox in my heart when it comes to Norwich players.
very good footballer on his day. I think he's the same levels as Tribal, in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
just don't think he breaks into that first name, even at his best.
Yeah,
I don't think
agreed.
he kind of was that first name on team sheet, but I wanted him in my starting 11. So, Harrison Reed. I
Oh, he
really,
was
I really
he was
liked him.
he was he was good. He
I,
was always in that. He played a lot of games for us in that year
mm,
that he
I'd
was
have
here.
him starting 11 personally.
Yeah, agreed. He was in that starting 11 quite a lot.
I'll put him towards the bottom of that one. We've got Mo Leitner next.
Player that was so good, but yet we still, I feel, didn't unlock his full potential, especially
Agreed.
towards the latter part.
Agreed.
Maybe I think it was a bit of an attitude problem, if I remember rightly, that he wasn't getting played. But that
Yeah,
season beforehand, before when he was on loan and then we brought him, he was
really
really
good.
good, wasn't he?
Was he better than
Um,
Harrison Reed his time at Norwich, even though we only had Harrison Reed for a season?
I think probably just below Reed.
Just started 11, yeah, flirting with the bench, but just started 11.
Harrison Reed didn't score against Ipswich.
No, that's very true. Very true indeed. We've got King Kenny, the mayor.
All timer. He's at the top.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I bloody love that man. I think
He is, and
longevity, consistent
yeah,
sevens out of tens, um,
yeah.
just his whole round
Club captain
personality.
now.
Yeah, just an all
He's just
round
Mr.
legend.
Norwich. His attitude, yeah. When we went out, being the mayor on the booze for about 3 days straight.
What more could you want?
Just yeah, he's one of them guys where you just think Mr. Norwich. Do you know what I mean?
Agreed. Definitely agree. We then have Ollie Skip. I think he was our first name on the team sheet when he was there.
Yeah, he was.
Let's get him in there.
Do you,
Bottom.
this is going to sound a bit controversial. Do you go all timer?
No, no. I can
Because
see
he was
why. I can
so good on
see
that
why.
loan. Everyone wants us to buy him, and people still talk about getting him back to this day before he went to Leicester. Like in that season, I don't think people could believe how good he was.
I do get your point, but I think all time, I think it's got to be 2 seasons, and I don't think you can have just one season
Just
here.
shouldn't. Mm,
But he is very good. I'll put him above Teddy. Andre Duda. So
Sale, yeah. Again, another player that didn't. Just it was weird. He was a good player, but it just seemed like he just didn't really care.
well, fun fact, Luke. My football boots are Duda's boots.
Well,
I've got
nice.
his actual boots with
Oh,
uh, the flag and Duda written on the back. So yeah,
nice.
I think factually I've scored more goals with those boots than Duda did. So
Ah,
they're in
nice.
safe hands. Um, Ampadu came in as a CDM. We played him centre back and then never played him CDM.
I think we had to play him centre back, didn't we? We had a bit
Yeah,
of an issue with that, didn't
had a
we? At
crisis.
the
Yeah,
time, didn't we have Tetty and Ampadu at centre back together one game?
yeah. Was that not the Man City game?
I think that was the Man City game, which makes that even more laughable
Puts him an all timer.
against
Yeah.
against Aguero.
I think he's solid, but bench. Bottom of bench.
And you say Aguero is the best Premier League striker of all time. He's not beating Tetty and Ampadu and at the back. Your arguments are valid.
Sorensen. I think that's a bench.
Wait, where are you putting Ampadu?
We're putting Ampadu bench mainly just because of his Man City performance.
I thought you said all time.
No, potentially, but Sorensen.
Bench. Again, it's a frustrating. There's definitely a player there, isn't there?
Yeah, I really like the bloke, but yeah, no, I think bench is fair. Billy Gilmore, he's a tricky one because I do.
So difficult. You go out your time at Norwich, shouldn't you? I think the issue was Norwich fans were expecting a lot more because of who it was and what he's achieved, and I think it's difficult for him. I think that was his first ever loan move away from Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I think him being in that team with players that probably weren't as good as that, Chelsea team that you won a Champions League with, was always going to be a bit of a struggle for him.
Yeah.
But he was a good footballer though.
He was tidy, wasn't he? He's a classic academy prospect. I felt like very tidy on the ball, not a huge risk taker, but tried to keep things.
He was never really on the bench, was he?
No, not overly, but I do think that was because of us having to play him due to
the loan obligations. Yeah.
I'd probably just go towards
starting 11.
I was going to say top end of bench.
But he wasn't, though.
No, but it doesn't matter if they're factually playing that much. It's like, was he better? I was going to say, is he better than Graham Dorrans? He is, isn't he?
Probably.
So yeah, either goes top of bench or lower starting 11.
Probably lower starting 11.
Below Leitner.
Yeah, you've got to think though. Like, he was a good player in that team we had. We had an awful manager that probably didn't play to his strengths as well. Like, he'd done a okay job.
True. We've got Pierre Lesmelou afterwards, the man that could be going to Man City. I actually really liked him. Like, I genuinely thought there was a decent player there, but we did not play anywhere near to his strengths.
Yeah, same as Gilmore. The two there. Just a manager that couldn't see. Well, it's not see the potential, but just play to the strengths that we had within that team.
Would you have him below Gilmore or above Gilmore? I think
I'd have him one above Gilmore.
Yeah, I think we saw more from Lesmelou than we did Gilmore. And then the other midfielder within that trio was Thias Norman.
Probably above them two, I'd say.
I'll be honest, I think he's a bit of a passion merchant, and that blinded us a little bit. He had glimpses of brilliance, but he had some honkers. But I think
he did.
Factually, he was in that midfield one of our first start 11. So, Liam Gibbs. I think he's a bench.
Yeah.
I think he's quite tidy. I'd put him between. Our bench currently goes Dorrans, Sorensen, Vardis. I'd probably put him between Sorensen and Dorrans.
Yeah, I'd put it below Dorrans.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Isaac Hayden, I think, Cell factually just weren't fit with
it.
I'll put him top of Cell because I think actually when fully fit, he's a decent player. Someone very similar, Adam Forshaw, but I just don't think he was as good as Isaac Hayden. Yeah, so there. Then got Lucas Rupp.
Bench.
Yeah. I think there's a slight argument that he was kind of keeping things ticking over towards. I mean, we weren't doing very well, but towards the back end of that Premier League season. But
we were relegated by that point.
Top of bench, I'd say.
Yeah.
Right, got a couple of big hitters and a couple of less big hitters left. Four
Ooh,
left.
let's do it.
We've got Bradley Johnson.
That is tough.
I feel like we're both thinking he's that awkward in between all timer and first team on the team sheet.
He is, yeah. I think he's first team on team sheet or first player on team sheet.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, is he? No, I don't. Can he?
But he's got that Ipswich goal, hasn't he?
Ipswich goal, playoff final. Just a very good. No, he's all timer. He's all timer.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He's an all timer. 100%.
Three left. Andrew Sermon.
He played. I liked Sermon. He done a lot for us. To be fair,
I quite liked Sermon.
Played well.
I'd put him above Norman. Personally, I'd have him for a Leitner actually. Maybe between Reed and Leitner.
I agree. Probably above them, I'd say.
Above Reed.
He done a lot. He done a lot more than any of them. He played a lot of games for us. To be fair.
Does he go ahead of Tribal? I don't think.
Just after Tribal, I'd say. Yeah. Didn't he not play on the left quite a lot, Sermon? No.
Yeah.
Am I imagining that?
He played.
I thought he was more of like a left mid rather than a centre mid.
Well, we'll go by the tier list, but I know he has played centre mid for us, so we'll go with that, I think. But yeah, just after Tribal's fair. Got Corey Smith.
God, that's a throwback. Jeez.
Yeah. Middle of bench for me.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because he actually was quite decent.
He's still playing football now.
Yeah. I've got middle of bench. And then Johnny Howson, for me,
all-timer.
The question is, where does he go on the all-time list? Third?
Who's top of all-timer?
So currently it's Sara, McLean, Johnson.
I think Johnson's above Sara.
I'll be honest, right? I know he said things after his Norwich career, but as a Norwich player and as a Norwich centre mid, I think he was unreal.
He was. I'd probably go the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that was me, I'd go Howson, Johnson, McLean, Sara. Sorry.
Howson, Johnson. It's currently Howson, McLean, Johnson, Sara.
No, I'd swap Johnson and McLean around. Because, yes, Sara's unbelievable, probably the best player we'll ever see, but unfortunately for him, just a couple of years, didn't get any promotions or anything. I know that does have a part to play, I guess.
Yeah, I think you've got to take into account not just their one.
Because anyone could have one good season, couldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's part of its longevity, part of its individual brilliance, part of its team player, part of its character. But yeah, I think Johnny Howson had some very, very special moments, and I think he's one of those players that when someone picks up the ball from 10, 15 yards in their own half and then drives forward, I always think, oh, that's a bit like Johnny Howson used to do. And I think if you're one of those players that you relate to other players,
Yeah, you've got to be good. Yeah.
So the top four have finished, Luke. Sara, McLean, Johnson, Howson. That is our top four from this tier list. Midfielders for Norwich. What looks to be from about 2010 onwards.
I 100% agree with all of them. I would say that because I just done the tier list, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought. But in regards to this, if you want to see any other tier lists done, drop a comment below. We can see if there's any been created, or we can create one ourselves. As always, make sure you like and comment, down below, and make sure you subscribe. And if you want to follow us on X, it's just Canaries Chat with 2 T's, and you can send us suggestions on there. But until then, we'll speak to you soon.